The Tau Empire's second sphere expansion began in the 18th year of the 39th millennium. With the widespread implementation of the ZFR2 Horizon Accelerator Engine, the range of the Tau fleets increased dramatically. Roughly 30 years into the expansion, the Tau incorporated the Vespid, an insectoid sentient species, into the greater good. Capable of carrying weapons while maintaining high mobility on their wings, the Vespid became the premier scouts of the Tau military. By the mid-39th millennium, the first mass-produced T-series prototype battlesuits were deployed. This weapon system underwent constant refinement throughout successive wars of expansion. During the Battle of Tashvar, fossil fuel-driven T-series suits were entirely replaced by the V-series, which utilized fission reactors. By the time the technology reached the X-series, these suits had become symbols of immense honor. Only the most elite fire warriors were selected for battlesuit units, leading the Fire Caste to refer to these advanced exoskeletons as the hero's mantle. A prime example of this technology is the XV8 Crisis Battlesuit, the standard equipment for frontline Tau forces. Standing twice as tall as a fully armed fire warrior, the XV8 integrates a rugged power exoskeleton with a jetpack, providing the pilot with exceptional mobility and protection. The standard chassis features 3 hardpoints, allowing fire warriors to customize their loadouts with weapons like burst cannons, plasma rifles, and fusion blasters, or tactical equipment such as shield generators, advanced targeting arrays, and drone controllers for remote operating drone swarms. These suits typically operate in teams of 3 to 6, capable of delivering devastating strikes against enemy infantry and light armor. As the Tau encountered more relentless conflicts, Earth Caste engineers developed specialized variants: the massive XV104 Riptide with its experimental dark matter reactor, the XV25 Stealth Suit with advanced optical camouflage, and the gargantuan KV-128 Storm Surge, which possesses enough firepower to hunt enemy titans. Driven by this rapidly advancing technology, new alien allies, and the philosophy of the greater good, the Tau Empire established several new sept worlds and numerous colonies. By approximately 700.M41, the Tau fleet used their Horizon engines to cross the vast empty expanse known as the Damocles Gulf.
This region, located on the eastern fringe of the Imperium's Ultima Segmentum, had served as a natural barrier. Even Imperial Navy vessels required 5 to 6 months of warp travel to cross it. Consequently, the Terran government had long forgotten the habitable worlds in this sector discovered by ancient Mechanis's surveys. The Damocles Gulf effectively acted as a buffer zone, allowing the Tau civilization to develop in isolation. Upon discovering human colonies on the far side of the Gulf, the Tau planned to bring them into the fold. Initial contact was relatively peaceful, as these remote worlds were far from the strict oversight of Terra. Most fringe worlds only interacted with the Imperium during centennial tax collections and were largely indifferent to Xenos or heretical influence. The Water Caste diplomats quickly identified dissenters within human society. Through lucrative trade, they formed alliances with local organizations and introduced Tau goods to the populace, showing the suffering masses of the lower hives a glimpse of a more comfortable life under the Tau Empire. Within decades, Tau influence had permeated the offices of planetary governors and the minds of common citizens, who were increasingly willing to listen to the message of the greater good. It was only when imperial merchant fleets and rogue traders encountered resistance from these worlds that the Segmentum government took notice. Inquisitorial and ecclesiastical investigators discovered that Xenos goods were circulating freely and that several governors had openly renounced the emperor to join the Tau Empire. Challenged by this defiance, the Imperium launched the Damocles Gulf Crusade in 742 M41. The task force consisted of a dozen battleships, 19 Imperial Guard regiments, and a Titan maniple, supported by 5 companies of Space Marines from chapters including the Iron Hands, White Scars, Ultramarines, and Black Templars. The crusade first struck the Timbra subsector, where the Tau had no military presence on their trade hubs. Imperial forces executed swift, cold purges of Xenos merchants and human traders. The first true naval confrontation occurred in the uninhabited Hydas system, where 7 Tau warships engaged the Crusade fleet. The Imperium was initially surprised by the Tau's long-range railguns and AI-guided torpedoes, which disrupted their formations.
However, once a Space Marine strike cruiser led a charge into the Tau formation, the Xenos' weakness, a lack of broadside weaponry, was exposed. Imperial ships used their superior armor and close-range firepower to secure a victory. On the ground, the Crusade moved against a colony in the Sy'l'kell system. During the landing, the 17th Armored Dragoons were ambushed by Tau anti-gravity vehicles and battlesuits. The high mobility of the Tau nearly annihilated the regiment, but a timely intervention by stormtroopers and the sides of the Emperor chapters saved the unit. Although the Imperium was winning, the Crusade Council realized the Tau threat was far greater than anticipated. Having cleared the fringe worlds, the Punishers of the Imperium began the long trek across the Damocles Gulf to bring the Emperor's judgment to the Tau homeworlds.